Welcome to the program from BillO'Reilly.com, cleverly titled internet website, BillO'Reilly.com. Welcome to the program, Bill O'Reilly. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Beck. How you doing today?
I'm very good. I know you don't want to talk about this because I know you don't speak ill of your former employer, but let me just lay out some facts here. The network is suffering greatly from your departure. Tucker Carlson is down 22% from its performance in Q1 at 9 p.m. The 8 p.m. hour down 24% from Q1. It looks like the whole thing is really cratering. This is not good if you're a conservative, but expected. 8 p.m. down. Fox News is down 24% in the 8 p.m., 20% in the 9 p.m., 15% in the 10 p.m., and that's with adults 25-54. Any thoughts on that, Bill, at all, that you want to say?
Well, first of all, congratulations on your ratings going up because, in a fractured media landscape, which means everybody's got the machines at in their hands, it's hard to grow anywhere on television and radio. So you're doing something that people like, and I think on Fridays it's because of me. Friday, and that's kind of overwhelmed everything.
All right.
As far as FNC is concerned, I had 20 plus good years there. I'm not going to badmouth them. I think that when you have a change in presentation on any media or in any sports team, any competitive situation, you run a risk. And certainly, I'm not there, but the presentation has changed. That when you were there and I was there together, and
Bill, let me interrupt you. I would agree with you that yes, you change anything, and it does hurt the ratings. But first of all, there was a massive change. I was talking to Tom Scott. Do you know who Tom Scott is?
No.
Okay, Tom Scott is he was the founder of Nantucket Nectars, and he's a big businessman. Right. And we were talking, and we talked about the loss of you at Fox, and he said you don't even have to agree with Bill O'Reilly. He said, but I'm not hearing anybody talk about what that loss means. It's really an end of an era, and I grew up in this small town, Mount Vernon, Washington, and I lived up on Warren Street. 202 Warren was my house, and a block away was the Baptist church, and it used to have bells that rang, and down in the town was the Carnation milk plant, and the bells would chime every hour, and at 8 o'clock, at noon, and at 5 o'clock, they'd blow the whistle for the factory. When those two things stopped, it was just unsettling, and it changed, and it was the mark of the end of an era in that town. You didn't have to watch you or agree with you, Bill, to have a sense of stability in the conservative movement, and you were always there, and it was always the same, and you were like that whistle or that bell. I don't think conservatives understand that everything is up for grabs right now, and everything is in flux and changing, and you were the mark of that.
Well, I have a couple of thoughts on that. Number one, it's not just conservatives. So we had when we did our surveys, a lot of independents and some liberals come in because I basically did fact-based presentation so that if you wanted to know facts that you were not going to hear on the network news or CNN and MSNBC, you came in because we would give them to you. For example, if I had been on the air last night, I would have concentrated on O.J. Simpson's narcissism, where this guy has the absolute gall to tell a parole board, hey, I'm a non-confrontational person. I'm a straight shooter. What a bunch of crap. This
crazy.
Guy's a sociopath. He's a murderer. And, and so I would have I would have said, here are the 5 reasons you should be in jail forever for killing his ex-wife and Ron Goldman. And I would have listed the 5 reasons right on the screen.
What are the 5 reasons?
You got his DNA at the scene, and then on and on and on and on. I would have selected the top 5 reasons, but the DNA was number 1. And then I would have said I covered the trial, and the reason that he got off, and this would have been provocative, and all hell would have broke loose, but that's okay because I'm not afraid to do that, is because the African-American jury simply hates the justice system and wasn't going to give the justice system Simpson's head. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
There's no dispute. That's what happened. That's what I would have brought. You didn't see that. You didn't see it, okay? Because it's what the presentation now is for FNC, for Fox, and they have a lot of talent, by the way. They got a lot of talent still on that air, is more of a equivocation, Beck. It's not what you and I do, okay? So Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly, we don't equivocate. We say, this is right, this is wrong, and these are the facts to back it up. That's gone now, except for Hannity. Hannity's the last man standing. All right, so you get a presentation that isn't as exact, and that's what I say. If you're going to change that, if your management is going to say, we don't want what O'Reilly was bringing, even though he was bringing in 5-6 million viewers a night, we don't want that anymore. Okay, we want more equivocation, more subtlety, more, oh, well, maybe he could have. Okay, then put it on and see what happens. And that is why I think the numbers are going down.
So you're in a room and you're alone. You can't leave the room. And it's Mike Tyson, O.J. Simpson, Bill Cosby. Who do you talk to?
Tyson.
Okay. O.J. Simpson and Sean Penn. Who do you talk to?
Oh, Penn. Penn is essentially harmless. He tries to help the Haitians, and he tries to do good stuff. He's just he just allows himself to be used because Sean Penn's whole presentation is emotion. Jack Nicholson once told me, I'm name dropping here, name dropping alert. Nicholson really likes Penn, and I like Nicholson. Nicholson is funny, and he's honest, and he whenever I get to talk to him, I take the opportunity. He says, look, Penn is good heart. He's just, the son of a guy who was blacklisted, a writer in the 50s, and he's got this far left view, and it's all about emotion. So, but in his heart, he's a good man.
Yeah, I've heard that about him, too, that he's really actually a really good guy. He's just all screwed up with communism. I don't understand how Sean Penn doesn't see. I mean, have you ever sat down and really talked to him about how do you not see this guy as a brutal dictator?
You're talking about Chavez, Hugo Chavez?
Yeah. Or any of them that he loves and embraces.
Well, because it's emotion. His father, Leo Penn, was a communist, and he was raised in that environment. So, maybe I should back off from was a communist. All facts point to that, and then he suffered greatly. His father was a screenwriter in Hollywood.
Sounds like you're equivocating. Right. I'm just saying.
Once in a while, you can overstate that. I know you never.
No, I have not. I have never. I've never done that. So,
once in a while, I do.
Bill, let me talk to you about this. We have made a deal on this show, kind of almost unspoken. It's not like we really, spent time in a meeting. I just said it on the air, and we all kind of looked at each other like, yeah, that's right. We're not talking, but we'll bring updates on the Russia thing. But we're not just talking about the Russia thing over and over again because there's nothing to talk about until somebody brings charges or says there's nothing here. I mean, this back and forth about Russia is doing nobody any good, and we're losing valuable time, actually helping people that need help. Talk to me a little bit about what you think about health care. Who's to blame here?
All right, but the Russia thing is interesting. Let me get that, and then you can take your break because I know your ad rates are going through the roof now. Look, the Russia thing is a contrivance. It's a contrivance, and it's being used by the hate Trump, destroy Trump media and the Democratic Party to make it impossible for Trump to govern. Okay, that's what it's about. There is a possibility that Paul Manafort, and I tweeted this today, and I've got 2 million tweet followers, and they follow me around wherever I go. 2 million people.
2 million. Wow.
Yeah. Now, I think that's pretty good.
It is.
I'm not
Pretty good.
sure.
It
I
is
don't
good
even
for
know
a
what
guy,
tweet is.
especially for a guy who says the Twitter and the tweeter.
The
I'm on the
tweet thing.
tweeter.
I have a little bird, a yellow bird.
Yeah, right.
But
Okay.
anyway, look, it's being used to try to destroy the Trump administration. That being said, keep your eye on Paul Manafort, the former campaign, just in the campaign for a few weeks, because I think that this guy is the one that's going to go down. And I tweeted that today, Beck, and on BillO'Reilly.com.
By the way, I just, I don't mean to quibble here, but you have 1.98 million viewers, not 2. I just wanted to back in just a second.
You know that.
I've got my researchers. I mean, Bill, we like the truth here. And we'll be back in just a second with Bill O'Reilly at BillO'Reilly.com. Sign up for his daily podcast and get the truth and the no spin from Bill O'Reilly himself every day. You can get it at BillO'Reilly.com.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
All right. Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com. So let me delve into the Russia thing with you just a bit, because you said this is, a plan by the liberals to make sure that he can't govern. And I think, yes, it is. But it is also, there's bad stuff that was going on with his people. And he is not making it any better for himself. For instance, this, quote, secret meeting between him and Putin. I mean, why not just come out instead of saying, I bumped into him on the way to the buffet table with Melania, and we just talked. Why? Then it was 15 minutes. Then it was about abortion. Now we know that it was an hour. I mean, why not just come out and say it? Why does he keep doing this, Bill?
I don't know. I mean, I agree that the president has not. He needs to read Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. All right, that's number one. Donald Trump needs to read Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals.
Why is that?
Because that's what's happening to him. Alinsky, who was an absolute radical progressive American who wanted to overthrow our capitalistic system, devised guerrilla tactics to diminish or harm his opponents. Hillary Clinton was an amateur of her.
You're right, but he is also. I mean, I don't think he needs to read it. He lives that himself. I mean, Trump lives that himself.
He needs to read it so he can not play into what Alinsky's doing.
Right.
Alinsky's dead, but his adherents.
Yeah.
Look,
so
it's pretty obvious to you and me that President Trump is not defending himself properly. Would that be an accurate statement?
I think he is, yes, but I think it goes further than that. He is actually.
Now you're into speculation, Beck.
No. I'm going to bring up something. That he is now talking about. His attorneys are investigating the investigators. That's just, stop it. What are you doing? It just makes you look like you have something to hide. Just why can't the president focus on tax reform?
I agree with you. He plays into the hands of those who want to destroy him by elongating the story, okay, and giving his critics another week on CNN of BS. So I'm agreeing with you. But if he would read Alinsky, then he would know why they're doing what they're doing. So look, I've always said I'm not afraid of the Mueller investigation. I don't think that Trump should be trying to undermine Mueller, because Mueller can't do anything. He can't do anything unless he has a fact that he can present to the American people. It's not like a commentator.
Right.
It's not like these pinheads on MSNBC. Mueller's got to say, this happened, I can prove it, and then we go from there.
Right.
So if Trump didn't do anything, and he's adamant that he did not do anything with the Russians during the campaign, then he doesn't have anything to worry about.
Does it matter?
You can't present opinion and half-baked stuff to the American people. Mueller's career would be destroyed if he did that.
Does it matter if it turns out he did have contact with the Russians, and he was looking for this information.
Of course it matters. Then he would be branded a liar. And then that's the thing. That's the thing.
So,
the old saying, it isn't the crime, it's the cover-up.
Right. So,
so if he did do it, then, I mean, the American people will probably turn against him.
What was interesting, I don't know if you saw this poll. There's a new poll out that shows that 45% of Republicans do not believe the meeting even took place, even though it was Donald Jr. that released the email. They believe the email is fake news.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you that the way these polling questions are worded, this, that, and the other thing, I did not see that.
Okay.
But it would be hard for me to believe that 45% of Republicans think the meeting didn't take place.
Okay.
I'm one of those guys who believes that the media is actively trying to subvert the administration. Actively.
Well, I wouldn't.
All of this stuff, to me, I got to look at it. I got to question for who was at that.
Okay, so let's come back in a second. Well, they're going to talk about health care and tax cuts and what else Bill O'Reilly saw in the news that makes a difference to your life.
The Glenn Beck Program. Mercury. This is the Glenn Beck Program.
The day the world went nuclear, new book for young readers. It's the companion to Killing the Rising Sun by Bill O'Reilly. He's got a poll out. Bill, I'm going to take your poll. You tell me if I'm right or wrong, okay? Test your knowledge of the atomic bomb history. Latest poll on BillO'Reilly.com. Where was the first atomic bomb successfully tested? It was New Mexico.
Correct.
Yeah. Where did the physicist Enrico Fermi first meet with Navy officials to discuss fission? I'm probably wrong on this, but I want to say Columbia University.
I think that's correct, but I'm not sure.
Whoa, this is your what? Hold it.
Yeah, it's on BillO'Reilly.com, but I didn't do the quiz. My genius savants did it.
All right.
I don't get all of them right.
Okay, I think Columbia is right, don't you? Albert Einstein wrote to which president urging him to look into atomic research? That would be Roosevelt.
Yes, and Roosevelt was on board early.
In what year did more money become available for uranium research from the War Department? I'd like to say 1942. It's 39, 40, 41, 42.
Yeah, I think it was earlier than that.
Okay. Who was put in charge of the new uranium research project? I want to say that was Oppenheimer.
Very good, Beck.
What was the project name? Manhattan Project. Who was the director at the Los Alamos Laboratory? I'd like to say it's Leslie Groves.
Yes, it was.
Wow. How many types of bombs were being developed during the war? 2. Correct?
I think it's 2. It might be, that's a tough question. There's a lot of nuance to it, but I'll go with 2.
The United States dropped atomic bombs on which Japanese city? That was easy. Of course, it was Tokyo and Fairbanks.
And that's why Godzilla got
That's right. That's right. After many tense years of negotiation, what was signed in 1963? Comprehensive nuclear test ban treaty. I'd say a limited nuclear test ban treaty.
Yes.
Okay. Bill O'Reilly.
The Bikini Atoll test.
So let's go to what Congress should be doing right now.
Okay, just before we get there, I just want to tell everybody that now that you've ruined the quiz on BillO'Reilly.com, they all know it. You should still go in there because we have a lot of history stuff going on, and we're turning that into a news/history website. But go ahead now. Healthcare. Here we go.
Okay, healthcare. Would Bill O'Reilly be happy with a simple repeal, no replace, just repeal at this point with a 2-year window to actually, replace it and fix it?
Yes.
Do you want to share more? Or this doesn't have to be a yes or no interview.
It's basically for those of us who understand that the Obamacare legislation is an income redistribution scheme, and that's what it is.
Yep.
All right. It's taking money out of the pockets of working Americans, anybody making more than 75K, and putting it into the pockets of people who don't have a lot. That's what this is. All right? That you strip away all the other garbage. It comes down to Barack Obama wanting to take income from Americans who have a little bit more and giving it to Americans who have a little bit less. Because you can't see certain doctors. The healthcare system is in disarray because insurance companies have bailed out. There's no reason to keep it. There's no reason to keep Obamacare. If you give the pinheads in Congress 2 years, maybe they'll get something done. I would rather see 1 year. But these people are so inefficient, so incompetent, that 1 year they start to shake because, that cuts into their gym time.
So
outrageous.
So let me ask you this, Bill. I give Susan Collins a break because as a Republican, she never voted for the repeal bill. I mean, everybody else voted for it like 178 times. She never did.
But I don't give her a break because she's not a Republican.
Right, I know that. I know that. But hang on just a second.
Wait, Beck. Again, let me bring something fresh and new to your life because that's my job. All right, fresh and new to Glenn Beck. The reason that Susan Collins, who is not a Republican, opposes this Republican health plan is because it defunds Planned Parenthood. That's why. That's what's sticking in her craw. And she is an income redistributionist, Miss Collins. So she should be a Democrat.
So I know that. I know who she is. The voters know who she is. She's never been for the repeal of Obamacare. So we got that. However, the ones like Portman in Ohio, who has said to the people, has on his own website how damaging Obamacare is to the state of Ohio, and Ohio's being hit really hard. For him to come out and say, day one, I'm not repealing it. It will do no good for the state of Ohio. He voted for the repeal when all these Republicans knew that Obama wouldn't sign it. They used that to speak to their base, to get votes, to get more money, to gain in the polls. And now there's 4 of them, and I don't count Susan Collins as this because she never was for it. They were just total and complete weasels. And there's more than 4 of them. These are just the weasels who are willing to pop their head up above ground.
But they'll always give you an excuse that Medicaid cutbacks are too much for the states. That's Portman's mantra because he plays into the Kasich scenario of we in Ohio are compassionate and that we need the Medicaid expansion to continue to be compassionate. That's where these guys come from. So they're not going to admit to that. But my posture is this: what's good for the country, right? Let's get back to what's good for the country. You've got to have a safety net. You have to because there are children involved.
Right.
There are irresponsible parents who won't or can't make a living, but there's kids. All right, you gotta help the kids. So you gotta have Medicaid, but you can't have unlimited Medicaid, and you can't have everybody gets it. All right, you can't have the system being so corrupt that anybody can game it. So this caps it. This Republican thing caps the Medicaid and then slaps it back into the states and say, you be efficient, you run it. Because we're only going to give you this much taxpayer money.
So that's
where it starts.
I've been saying this week that we have a situation to where Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell have proven themselves to be no friend of the voter and, quite honestly, no friend of Donald Trump. They're not getting anything done. Here they have the biggest smokescreen in the world. While everybody is focused on Russia, watch the other hand. The other hand is doing nothing but strangling the forgotten man in the heartland of America to death. I agree
with you on McConnell, and I know that firsthand because he wouldn't put Kate's law for a standalone vote, the pinhead. I think that the speaker got it through the House. You can't come down on him as hard as you come down on McConnell, who's an old-time pal. He shouldn't be there. He's obsolete. He doesn't know how to negotiate. He doesn't like Trump. I mean, there's like 50 things on the man's resume. But now, if they can't get a tax cut passed, If they can't do that, then you kiss the Republican Party goodbye for 6 years.
Oh,
Because
more than that.
Americans are saying, okay, look, the healthcare thing, we really don't understand it. It's very complicated. We're angry about it, but we don't understand it. Everybody understands a tax cut.
Yeah.
And if you can't get that done with a majority in the House and the Senate, if you can't get that done, all right, then forget it. Pack up, get out, because the Democrats are going to come in big time. And then you're going to have a socialist country. That's what these people want.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I agree with you. We will have a socialist country if the Republicans fail on things like tax cuts. If they fail there, they're toast. They're toast, and we are toast.
Right. And they're so stupid. The economy is actually growing. An article today in the Wall Street Journal says that the lower wage earners are growing the fastest. So it's working. So Trump's bombast and his threats and all of that, it's all working. Stock market's up, more money in people's pockets to invest.
Dollar is down by 10%. Dollar is down by 10%.
Well, all right. I mean, look, if you go into the Czech Republic, you're going to get hurt. But if you're standing here in Missouri, you're doing okay. And if they pass a tax cut, the economy will even do better. So these people, I mean, they're just driving me nuts.
So what happens if they don't pass at least a good tax cut? What happens to Donald Trump in 2020? Will he'll
get killed?
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's going to make it to 2020 if he doesn't start to he's got to consolidate. But if he doesn't get the tax cut done, if the president can't get that done, I don't know. I mean, you're a lame duck and you got 3 years left to go in your term, because it's just going to be Armageddon. It's going to be crazy.
What do you mean?
I think the president has got to stop everything and just, get into the tax cut business and get in fast.
So if he can't get this done, you think he'll lose so much support that they'll be able to impeach him?
He's not
or do you think
power.
No, but you just said
have any power. His whole party is turning on him. Go ahead.
So you just said you don't think he'll make it for the 4 years.
Because once you lose power, once you lose support of the people, it's like Nixon. Okay, once you they just walk away. All right, then the bad guys come in and they're going to throw everything they can at him. They'll trump up stuff. They'll make up stuff. I want everybody to check out Cheryl Atkinson's book, The Smear.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's right behind Legends and Lies: The Civil War and the New York Times bestseller list. Okay, thank you very much. Pretty good plug, though, right?
Anyway. Expertly done.
The Smear, and you're in that book big time, Beck.
I know.
Big time.
I know.
Okay? Every American should read that book, and then you're going to know what's going to happen to Donald Trump. If he loses his support, and he hasn't so far, his people are staying with him.
They are softening, but they're staying with him.
Done. Whoa.
Yeah. All right, BillO'Reilly.com. He's got 1 billion books out. He's got a great website, and it's getting better every day. And it's BillO'Reilly.com. And make sure you join his little club. It's like the Mickey Mouse Club, and he sings to you.
Little club, Beck.
Yeah, he sings to you at the end. It's what? What'd you say?
It's not even 2 million full on Twitter.
Yeah, he doesn't even have 2 million people. It has 1.98.
At Bill O'Reilly on Twitter. Once they hear this, we'll be at 3 million on Saturday.
BillO'Reilly.com. Thanks, Bill. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Thanks for having me in.
You bet. Bye-bye.